Good morning. Today's dog is Dexter. Hey, baby. So it's a lovely sunny day here in New Zealand, so I thought I'd come and do my vlog outside. So it's not like really warm because it's winter, but we are getting great sunny days, and when that sun gets up and it's a bit higher in the sky in a minute, it really does warm up. Anyway, so it's been a week. It was a week, sort of 7 days yesterday, so it was time to jump on the scales this morning. And I'll be honest, I was afraid to jump on the scales because I thought I've made an effort this week, and if I haven't lost any weight, I would be surely disappointed to the point I probably would have given up. And so obviously I really didn't want that to happen. Excuse me a minute. Sorry. So anyway, now it didn't help. I mean, it's fine. I've got no problem with it. But my husband jumped on the scales last night and he lost 1.5 kilos, which is really good because all I've really cut down on him at the moment is probably a lot of the sweet treats that we used to have that he's not been having, and but he's been slowly consuming all the sugar items around the house because, like I say, I'm too mean to throw them away. And oh, Ruby's come to say hello. Say hello, Ruby. There you go. So he's still managed to lose 1.5 kilos even though he's eating up all the sweet treats. Sorry. So that's pretty good. And I thought, oh my God, I really hope I've lost weight tomorrow, when I weigh myself in the morning, because I'm going to be so disappointed if I haven't. And anyway, so jumped on the scales. As you know, I was over 100 kilos when I started, and I had to write it down because I thought I'm not going to, well, not that I would forget how heavy I was, because I would have. So I was a 101.9. So, and this morning, oh, I didn't actually write down the weight, but I've lost 3.5 kgs, which equates to about 7 something pounds, I believe. Nearly 8 pounds. So I'm really, really pleased with that. But in my past diets, that is always the first week you always lose the most, because I don't know whether it's a fluid or your body suddenly, she's not eating sugar and she's not eating so much fat. Well, I'm going to have to use some of this in the store cupboard, if you like, inside you. So that's really good. So I'm really, really pleased with that. It's spurred me to keep going. And I'm doing okay on it. I've wrote down some points here that I wanted to talk about that I've noticed within myself and my body, what's happened. And I did say it would be a warts and all discussion, and this bit is the most unpleasant side of the whole thing for me to discuss, but I've noticed that I'm going to number twos, pooing, if you like, for want of a better word, a lot less. Pre-diet, so not last week before, I could go to number twos 5-6 times a day, which was ridiculous, wasn't it, really? And I noticed right away that has been cut down to 2 or 3 times a day. So I'm only figuring that maybe prior to the diet that I was getting rid of the excess food that my body really didn't need. I've no idea how it works, but at least now that I'm, my toilet habits have improved. And I can also say, this is not a very nice subject, but I am going to talk about it. The consistency, for want of a better word, is far better, because it used to be loose sometimes, and but this last week it's been very good. So that's enough about that subject. So that's that. And then the first couple of days I noticed that I got quite tired, especially in the afternoons. I felt that my energy levels were pretty low, probably for the first 4 days. And although I didn't sleep in the afternoons, I really felt that I could have done, and I forced myself to stay awake. Because prior to the diet, so not last week, week before, my sleep patterns were pretty bad. I would sleep, I'd probably go to bed 10:30, and I would sleep through to 7:30, 8 o'clock sometimes. So that's what, that's nearly 10 hours sleep a night. And then on top of that, I would do my tasks in the morning, and then I'd have my lunch, and I'd sit down in the afternoon, and inevitably I'd fall asleep again, especially if I was sat in front of the fire. And I could have anything between half an hour to 2 hours sleep again then. So I'm getting upwards to like half of my day was spent sleeping, which is terrible. I mean, I'm wasting my life sleeping, and I'm sure I didn't need that much sleep. So anyway, going back to last week, I really felt that I could have kept going, kept sleeping for that 12 hours a day quite easily. But come the Friday, I've just felt, I don't know, I just felt much better. I felt more energized. I didn't have that feeling of being bloated and sort of stodgy and sort of, what's the word? Just no energy, no enthusiasm, no sort of will to really, go out of my way to do anything and that. So, which is what I was before. But come the Friday, I noticed it improved quite a bit. I felt quite energized. I went out with my son. I go out once a week with my son for lunch, and we go shopping or whatever. And I made a very healthy choice. We went to Subway, and I had a wrap, not a bun thing. So, and he made a healthy choice as well, so that was good. And I felt quite energetic, and I didn't sleep that day in the afternoon. And then the evening, I went to bed about 10:30, and throughout that night I woke up a few times, and I felt quite wide awake. And it's been like that since. So Saturday I was quite full of energy. I went and met my friend for lunch, and again I made a healthy choice. Because that's the thing, my excuse going out and meeting people for lunch and doing stuff would be to have cakes and biscuits and crap. So I didn't do that. I had mushroom soup when I went out with my friend, and it did have a couple of little pieces of ciabatta bread, which I ate, and I did have bad wind in the afternoon, so whether it was to do with that bread, I don't know, but and I felt really energetic. I felt Sunday we went out and we were out doing different things, and I felt fine. And the same with yesterday, Monday. I did all my housework, and I did stuff in the garden, and I kept going, and I haven't slept now in the afternoon for 4 days. So, and I feel much better for it, and I'm hoping that, perhaps I'll go to bed a bit later. And as the weather's improving now and it's getting lighter mornings, I could get up earlier and take the dogs earlier. I mean, I can't do it before because we live in the country. We don't have any street lights or anything here, so it is very dark up until probably about 7:30, 7:45. So I should get up then, and hopefully that'll be continue, because that is a good thing. The urges for sweet things were very strong to start with. Like I say, I did have a few products still in the house because I was too mean to throw them away. My husband's slowly getting through those, and we're nearly through them all now. I gave quite a few bits and pieces to my son, and he took that home with him and disposed of that for me. So the only real products with sugar in them at the moment still in the house is probably a few tins of stuff, baked beans, sauce mixes and stuff. I will use those up. Like I did a stir fry on, I think it was Sunday or Saturday, and I put the sauce in there, but I took my portion out before the sauce went in. and I just had some soya sauce, and there is sugar in soya sauce, believe it or not. So I'm going to look for, I just had a tiny little bit to give it a bit of flavour, but I could probably get away with using salt and pepper on it, or even look for a sugar-free soya sauce. I'm sure I could get one somewhere. So that was how I'm going to do that. So to use up the stir-fry sauces I've got, I will use some of my poor husband, who doesn't mind, but he still lost weight, you know. So, and then we will, you know, we won't be buying those anymore. So, and I did have pasta. I had spaghetti bolognese and pasta, and I've got a smaller sort of dinner plate. So I put my portion on that dinner plate, and I gave my husband a normal portion. I didn't put cheese on top of it, whereas I normally would. So yeah, so overall, it's been all right. It's been pretty good. You know, the cravings were there, but and another thing is, which is an advantage for me, is I live out in the country. So the nearest shop for me, or supermarket, there is one down Tram Road, which is about 15-minute drive away. And I could drive down there if I'm absolutely desperate, but why would I? Why would I go and get in the car, drive down, you know, 15 minutes to get something sugary? But if I lived in an urban area where the shop was just around the corner, I might well have given in last week. But, you know, so it's an advantage for me to be living where I am doing this, because things aren't close to hand. I can't rush off and get stuff if I'm desperate. So that's a good thing. That's to my advantage. And the other thing I wanted to talk about in this video, without trying to make it too long, is like I say, we live in the country. Excuse me a minute. Sorry, I get a dry throat when I'm talking. So our food source, and I've recently watched a lot of documentaries around food, sugar, different, you know, ways food is grown and stuff like that. And it is an absolute minefield. And I will say that we're very fortunate that when we do eat meat, and I've cut that down to just twice a week at the moment, it is our homegrown cow. You know, my neighbour grew her cow, if you like, and she had it slaughtered, and we had half of it, and so I know that cow was fed on grass. It was completely grass fed. There was no you know, in hay in the winter. And I watched that cow grow up until, you know, she was slaughtered. And so I know that cow had a healthy life, and it was grass fed. And I think sometimes, you know, some of the meat you buy, I don't think it's so much here in New Zealand, because we're a very small country, and we've got a big dairy, beef, sheep, lamb, you know, sales and stuff. I mean, New Zealand lamb is renowned, and I really do believe that most of the meat, especially in our supermarkets, is grass-fed beef and lamb. Not that we eat lamb, because we don't. Pork is a different matter, because they are ruling out the sow crates now and stuff like that, so that's going to end soon. But we don't eat pork very much. Very rarely eat pork. Don't eat lamb. And the chicken, we have had our own chickens. We do have our own chickens, so we have free-range eggs. And my husband has slaughtered the odd chicken, and he's had it. I haven't eaten it because I don't know, something about it, I just can't eat the chicken. But when I do buy chicken, it will be free-range chicken from the supermarket. So, you know, I'll make sure that it's not been pumped full of salt water and any other crap, you know, hormones and stuff like that they put in our food. And when you start researching the documentaries and you look out there and you think, my God, you know, most people got no idea what they do to our meat and our produce. You know, even some of the produce in the supermarkets, I'm not saying it happens here, but in some countries they actually spray it with something to make it look shiny. And, you know, why? You know, it's like, it's an apple, it's an orange, you know. It is what it is, and it's quite shocking, and because we're a small country, a long way away from anything, you know, we're not like right next to Europe where we can get tomatoes all year round. So we tend to, over here, just have seasonal fruit and veg, which is good because it's not stored for long. It's not got anything done to it that, you know, can make it last longer. Plus here, for us, my situation is we do grow our own apples and pears. And we do grow all our own veggies and we know what we put on them. So I'm very lucky in that sense. And another thing that we've managed to get, we used to have our own bees, but they just swarmed one day, never came back. But my husband's got a colleague in work that gets nice honey from a local source. I'm not sure where he gets them, but it's not processed in any way. It's literally out of the hive in the jar to you. And he managed to buy a couple jars of that honey. And so if I really need to sweeten anything, then I've got this honey, which is all natural. So, you know, I'm relatively lucky in that sense. I think if I was living in an urban situation, it would be completely different. So, yeah, so I am grateful for that. The fact that, you know, I can get these healthy meats and vegetables and honey and stuff like that. It's a definite advantage. So anyway, I think that'll do now for rattling on. So anyway, like I say, it's been good, and it's really spurred me on to think I've lost 3.5 kgs. I know that's going to slow down. I know that's going to end up being, you know, may only be 1 kg next week. But so long as I'm on that downward slope, that's good. And at the end of the day, even if I only lose a couple kg a month, it's still in the right direction. It's still going down instead of up, which it was steadily going up. And I know it's going to take me more time to go down, and that's absolutely fine. I'm quite happy to put up with that, and it takes what it takes. It takes as long as it takes. So anyway, that's all for now. I'll catch up in a couple of days with you, let you know how things are going. And yeah, so thanks for watching. Please like or dislike and subscribe, and I'll catch you later. Bye for now.